What is happening, y'all? It's Corey with Current Angling. This morning, I'm glad I didn't listen to the weatherman because it is glass outside. He was calling for strong winds and then rain later this evening, which may happen, but this morning is pristine. Check out the water. Look under the docks, look all around those pilings. Looking at the forecast, I can tell this is gonna be, a pre-front condition. I think there's a storm coming in, and right now I gotta take advantage of this slick, awesome water. I just saw on the screen something jump behind me. Guys, mullet. I thought that was maybe a predator fish. I was just listening. On this higher tide with water in the grass, I'm gonna throw something weedless. I killed it with this shrimp last time I was out, so I'm gonna throw it again. It's by Mayhem Fishing. Fish kind of fast with these artificials, just locating fish and then paying attention to those patterns, those key things like how long I'm letting it sit and wait, kind of dead sticking it, how deep is it, what location, structure or current. All of these things kind of play a factor. And I'm also really paying attention to my environment, my surroundings, because you might hear some like suction pops, which is much different from a belly flopping mullet. That's a topwater strike. You're here not just for entertainment, but also to learn. So I've included all of the details of today's conditions, like the tide, the barometric pressure, the moon phase, the air temperature. Often I'm asked about my retrieves for artificials, and 90% of my artificial is either a paddle tail or shrimp imitation plastic. Now, I do fish them differently. My main retrieve for a paddle tail is just gonna be throwing it out there, raising it up, reeling down your slack, raising it up, reeling down. Or if it's really shallow, I'm just gonna kind of straight retrieve, sometimes slower than others, but I'm moving that lure a bit faster. It's swimming, the paddle's moving in the back. However, when I have a shrimp imitation lure, I fish it much slower. I think naturally a shrimp is going to be in the same general area. It's gonna pop, it's gonna settle, it might flee away, but it's not covering ground. You're not like trolling with this. It's also not the kind of lure that's gonna do well trolling. I think they might kind of spin or go up in the water column. They're just not, designed for that. So I fish this much slower. I give it some pops, I'll dead stick it, and just try and fish the same 3-4 feet that I cast it to on the grass line or on structure, and then I reel it in. I just try and hit those perfect zones, but I definitely fish it differently. So here I'm gonna cast to an area right there by that piling. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute, wait for my the wake of the splash, the ripples to go away. I'm gonna give it rod tip some shakes like this. I'm gonna lift up the rod tip, give it some more twitches. Lift up the rod tip, reel down my slack, give it some more twitches. A lot of times this is how I'm gonna fish a paddle tail too, but I'm just doing this even slower. I'm trying not to cover much ground horizontally. This lure has a little bit of a worm rattle inside of it, which is perfect, I think, for a shrimp because they make like a clicking sound when they move, when they're fleeing. So here, if I give a little pop, those little tiny rattles inside of it will make a small sound, which is especially good for, bad water clarity. That way these fish can sense it. All right, guys, I haven't had a bite yet. I'm gonna make a kind of perfect pairing. These dogs, Finesse Eyes by Zman, an eye strike. Tiny little jig head. It's just a slim swim. I think it's gonna be a perfect finesse little bait, perfect for this late winter, early spring. So today's one of those days where it looks beautiful out, but it's a little bit of chill in the air. It's pre-front, storms kind of come in. I'm worried that the pressure is dropping too fast. These fish are getting uncomfortable, and it'd be easy to just call it right now, but instead I'm switching it up. I've been pounding the grass line, nothing has been happening. So now I'm gonna hit the docks. I'm gonna hit different sides of the docks, different areas. I'm gonna go down the pilings in different depths, and then I'm gonna hit the end of the docks and on flats and into the docks, like right by channels. I'm also going to go hit a little bit further down. This is a lot like last video, but a little further down I'm going to go to a different creek, and I'm going to hit some bends and some oysters and some areas a little bit off the main river and see if I can find some fish tucked back in there that are feeding. roll my sleeves up so I can get down to it. Perfect little creek that goes in here. I know that the mouth of it is just full of oysters because I've been here before on low tide. Just gonna fish that a little higher in the column because I don't want to hit the oysters down there. If there's a redfish, hit the oyster. I'm gonna say if there's a redfish sitting there, he'll grab it. That's a big trout, I think. No, it's a little red. Okay, a little red. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, that's fish number one finally. Found one. So far it's been pretty tough this morning, but I'm pretty stubborn. I usually just stick with it and check a million different places until I start finding them. This is a smaller redfish. It's good to get rid of the skunk here. Looks like he's safe. It's like 14 3/4. She definitely wants me to bring home some fish tonight for dinner, so that one got lucky by 1/4 of an inch. You know, if it's close, I'll just throw it back. It's not worth messing around with, using your fishing license or something. Now I'm deeper in a creek. I think the trout will stack up in these bends in these deeper areas. The late winter, early spring is a good time to catch them here. The way the current's going, and then pull the bait with the current towards you. That way the bait is moving much more naturally, and you know, when the water's colder, you're gonna be getting that depth. If you're going against the current and pulling it, it's gonna go up, up, up in the water column. Well, okay, I have a fish. I did not expect that. Feels like a big trout. Holy crap, what is this? Probably a red. It looks red. Oh man, was not expecting a big fish. You know, just thought I'd go out for like 30 minutes or so. Look at that blue tail. Beautiful fish. So cool. Get a good snap of him. I didn't get skunked, but you know, might not be the most entertaining video, but I talked about some stuff that is relevant, should be helpful for you guys out on the water. I'm hoping to get out again maybe this week. If not, you know, I'll post this and then you'll get another one the next week. That's the way it is kind of in the spring. Right now it's pre-front, and sometimes the bite just shuts off completely. As this water heats up, the bite's gonna heat up. I'm looking forward to this spring and summer. Appreciate you guys watching, and check out my other videos here, and I'll see you guys soon.